Hello creative Tartanites, and welcome back to episode 5 of my creative podcast. I feel like I don't have an awful lot to show you today, but I do have at least one thing in each category. So that should result in a reasonably interesting podcast today. If you're new to my channel and just happen to come across this video, my name is Tanya and I am an eclectic creator. I paint, I draw, I sew, I knit, I crochet. I'm very creative. I just love to try and experiment with new techniques and new ideas. There is a logical order to this podcast. I tend to talk about things that I have finished, so projects that I've finished. Then I talk about projects that are in progress, and then I talk about plans that I have for other projects in the future. Today is the 1st of December and I'm adding a new segment in this podcast, and that is me opening my yarn advent. You can probably see it just in the background, just the bottom of it. I just hung it today, all ready for me to take out the yarn from pocket number 1 and see what I have got. This is my very first yarn advent. Each pocket contains a 5 gram skein of sock wool, so I'm very excited to be sharing this with you just now. I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to do it first or whether I'm going to pop it in later. I don't know. I think probably I might just pop it in later. But if you're over on Instagram, I am going to be just simply posting either in my stories or in reels a small short clip of me just simply opening the advent for each day, every day. So as soon as I've recorded this podcast, I'm going to sort the clip for today. I may or may not post it on YouTube as well, we'll see. But if I don't post it daily, what I may do is I may add it to next week's podcast and show you the full week in the run-up to Christmas. If you're not already following me on Instagram and would like to, then you can find me at Tartantaz. I would love it if you were to come over and help me to celebrate all things creative. So I'm going to start off ever so slightly differently today. I am going to do what I'm going to call the housekeeping. You can also find me on Facebook as well. I have a Facebook group called the Creative Tartanite Tribe, but I also have started a Discord channel as well. And the reason behind starting the Discord channel is I really like that platform. It was initially designed for gamers and a lot of gamers use it. However, I would like to use it to grow an eclectic creative community. And don't worry if you're not eclectic, because you can just simply stick to the channels that are your niche, so to speak. So if you're a knitter, then, you know, hang out in the knitting threads. Essentially, the reason I like Discord is because it doesn't have the same interruptions, like Facebook. It doesn't always show all the posts, and it has adverts, whereas over on Discord, you don't have that. You don't have the adverts. I think it's a little bit easier and more intuitive to navigate. It might feel a little bit awkward to begin with, but you know, I do like it. And if you want me to do a little bit of a tutorial on how to navigate Discord, then let me know in the comments and I will do a little short video on that and help you out. But I do like to give people choice, and as I said, you know, I do have an established Facebook group called the Creative Tartanite Tribes, and everything that I mention, I will leave links in the description if there is links to be able to help you to find things. And as always, if you like these kinds of videos, if you're enjoying this, please give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, that's if you want to, and hit that bell for notifications. So that is all the housekeeping things out of the way, let's move on to the first category, which is finished projects. Now, I only have one finished project, and it's not completely finished. It's literally just off the needles. I haven't blocked it or anything, but yeah, I was keen to show you it because I'm quite excited that I'm able to show you this. If you've watched last week's podcast, you will have seen the start of this shawl. Now, for those who are perhaps deaf or a little bit hard of hearing, when I'm editing, if I notice that I've covered my lips and my mouth in any way, and there's anything of interest that I'm actually saying, I will put up some captions to let you know what I'm saying. But most of the time I'm just rambling a load of nonsense, in which case I may just leave it off. But if it's something important that I think that you would like to know, then I will pop it up on the screen, and I will do my best not to cover my mouth because I would like this channel to be inclusive. So first of all, I'm just going to hold it up and I'm going to say nothing because I know in holding this up I will cover my mouth. So just for a few seconds I will say nothing. I know it's hard to believe, but I will say nothing. So as you can see, it is a semicircle. When I initially started it, I thought it was a triangle, but then I realised that it wasn't. I don't know why I thought it was a triangle, because the photographs don't really make it look like a triangle. I just, for some reason, had it in my head that it was a triangle, but it's not. It's a semicircle. So this is the ferrule shawl. It has been knitted in, I'm just looking at the screen to see if it's all in screen. Actually it's not. I mean, even doing it diagonally I'm still going off the screen. Anyway, this is the ferrule shawl. I found it when I was watching another podcaster's podcast, and I just loved the look of it. She was wearing it. It's not particularly wearable at the moment because it needs to be blocked. It looks a bit clunky, and I think it needs a little bit of stretching as well, which will happen when I block it. I think I'm going to attempt to iron block it to begin with because I don't actually have anything to block knitting on. As a new knitter, that is something that I haven't bought yet. I think starting out doing knitting and things, there's a lot of things that you could potentially buy, and my experience with art supplies and things, sometimes you buy things because people talk about them as if they're essential, but then you find out that they're not as essential as you think, and actually you can do without them. So I've been kind of trying not to buy all the latest and everything and anything that is to do with knitting, because what I don't want is I don't want to end up with all these supplies and not using them. I have been looking on Amazon in the UK, and I have found some, it's like jigsaw pieces, and it's like square foamed blocks, and they fit together like jigsaw pieces, so you can make whatever shape you're actually needing, and you can pin them on, and it's around about, I think it was £35.99, or I can buy one at 50. So the £35.99 just comes with a plain plastic container, like a case, and it's not very aesthetically pleasing, I have to say, and I'm not really all that keen on plastic see-through containers. I don't know, maybe it's just me, it kind of feels a little bit cheap, but the other one actually has like a canvas case that you can zip shut. This the plastic one is also a zip one as well, but this sort of canvas, it's plain canvas, it just looks a little nicer. But again, I'm kind of, do I really want to spend that extra when actually the plastic case will do just as well, because the chances are it's probably going to be, you know, in a cupboard somewhere and not out on display. So there's my dilemma at the moment. I'll leave a link. Some of the links, if it's an affiliate link, I will say it's an affiliate link. I'm not affiliated with Amazon. I am affiliated with Jackson's Art, so if there's ever any art supplies from Jackson's Art, then it's an affiliate link. It just simply means that I get a little bit of a percentage money back for recommending, and it's at no cost to anybody who's clicking on that link. It's the exact same price as you would pay if you weren't using the link. But if there is ever an affiliate link, I will say it's an affiliate link. So if there's nothing to indicate it's an affiliate link, then it's not. It's just simply for your reference. I'm not endorsing or asking you to purchase anything. It's just to let you see, because sometimes I'll click on the links just to see what it actually looks like. Particularly when it's, you know, people will put, in the States will put links that go to the American Amazon, and just being able to see what it looks like helps me then to look for it in the UK, because not everything is the same name in the UK, and so it just helps me to look for things. So I will put links in the description. It's been knitted in Arden wool. I have shown the Arden wool, I think, in the last podcast. It is only, I think, 20% wool, and the rest is acrylic. It was gifted from my mum, so it actually technically didn't cost me anything. But yeah, it was a really easy shawl to make. As a beginner knitter, I was a bit wary of knitting something with kind of sort of lacy effects and things. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I did get a little bit confused because I had it in my head it was a triangle. I was kind of expecting it to be like straight at the top, because it is straight at the top, but forgot that actually it's a semicircle. So that confused me a little bit for a little while. But once I actually looked back on the Ravelry page and I looked at all the photographs, including of other people's projects, it helped me to kind of really get it into my head that actually what's happening is essentially the knitting's coming up like this. So yeah, in this bit here, like this is grafted together. It's not particularly fabulous grafting, but it's neat enough. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really nice, shawl to wear. So I'm babbling again, so let's move on. That's the only finished project that I've got currently. I've got one work in progress. In fact, technically I guess you could say I've got two works in progress, but although it's in progress, it's still at the very, very, very beginning stages, where I'm actually just getting the supplies ready. So I'm going to use that, I'm going to talk about that in the plans section. So this is my work in fact, actually, I'm telling little fibbies. I do have another work in progress. In fact, I've got two other works in progress that I'm going to show you. So that's 3 in total. But the other 2 works in progress are more works that I kind of abandoned and I haven't touched for a long time. So maybe that should be its own category in itself. You know, all those projects that you start and you just never finish. So maybe I'll start another category that, well, put my teeth back in. It won't be in every podcast, because I'm hoping to continue to do weekly podcasts, but maybe that would be a good a good category below. And don't forget, I'm wanting this to be an interaction. It's not just simply me here chatting to you and then not, getting anything in return. My hopes for this podcast is to create an interactive community, because I know myself, a lot of my colleagues at work, their eyes glaze over when I talk about my crafting. Not everybody. Some of my colleagues are really good, and they know that I'm passionate about it and they take a genuine interest. But it's just so nice to have lots of other people to talk about knitting and crafting and sewing and all that jazz, especially now that I'm living back on my own again. So I can spend quite lengthy periods of time on my own. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm okay, but sometimes it's just nice to have a little bit of company. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I have my one of the other reasons why I have my creative group. So we've got the Creative Tartantaz Tribe, and it's about, just having a place to hang out and have friends. And I'm hoping that if enough people come into the Discord, we can start having things like video calls where we're just simply keeping each other company while we're busy. We could be knitting or sewing, or it might be a little bit noisy with a machine, right enough. But I guess you could always, if you're really wanting to get some machine sewing done, you can put yourself on mute and just listen to people chatting. That might be an idea. But that's the plan anyway. So again, I've digressed. Sorry. Here is the other work. This is the knitting work in progress. This is, obviously I showed this last week. I think it was it not up to about here last week? Just to about here. And I've now done the body and finished it off. So I just simply, because it's that easy, isn't it? As a beginner, I just have to pick up the stitches on the arms and start to, I've got a hair there, and just start to knit the arms, and then that will be this jumper finished. So really excited for that. That's that project. So this is the little extra segment that I'm going to add into this podcast, and that is abandoned but might finish one day projects. If you have any of those, why don't you tell me about it in the comments? I'd love to start a conversation with you guys. So first things first, I have a baby quilt that I started when one of my grandchildren was born, and my grandchild is now 11, so that shows you how long I've had this quilt for. And it's hand sewn, and I think that's why I kind of abandoned it in the end. It wasn't the actual sewing of the top, because you will see in a second that actually the top is finished, the top's done. I think with the magic of editing, I'm going to show you me standing further away from the camera and actually show you the full quilt to let you see. But let me see, there we go. Oops, there we are. Oh no, that's not working. There we go. If it's blown out at all, I do apologise. I have a panel here, and these are paper piece squares. I used post-it notes and wrapped the fabric around the post-it notes. Oh, I can't talk today. Wrapped the fabric around the post-it notes, and then sewed them by hand around about the square. And I've got the different squares. There's a blue one, that was the pink cat. there's a giraffe here, and as I said, I will let you have a look at the quilt in all its glory. The reason I abandoned this quilt is because I was also, not only was I hand sewing the top, but I was hand quilting as well. And because I chose gingham for the back, if I didn't get the stitches lined up with the gingham squares, I just thought it was going to look awful. So when I was sewing, I popped the needle in, turned it over and made sure that the needle was coming out at the right spot on the gingham, and it was taking forever. So I abandoned it. I hadn't planned to abandon it for as long as I had, but I wanted to take a break from it. Then I got totally distracted with all sorts of other things that were going on in life, and then I forgot about the quilt. So it has moved with me from house to house over the last few years. Yeah, I'm thinking I might finish it. I don't know who it's going to go to, but I'm thinking I would like to finish it. And so, yes, that's that quilt. The second abandoned project is also a quilt, but a slightly different quilt. And again, I will film it from a distance and put in a clip so that you can see the whole thing in all its glory. This is a jelly roll quilt, and it's just simply the strips all put together. You start off with a strip, you put it right sides together like this, you sew all the way down. Now the strips that I had were like really long, and the more you do it, the shorter the strips get. So imagine that this is like 10 times longer than this. You sew all the way down, and once you've sewn it, you cut it, and you then fold it in half again, putting right sides together. So you're essentially adding more and more and more stripes on, and every time you do it, you cut it. And then eventually you get to the point where it is a full quilt. The reason I have abandoned this quilt is because I think I've done it to an awkward shape, and I'm not very good at figuring out how much more material that I'm going to need to make this. So like I'm going to put borders. I want to border the quilt, and I've put it off and put it off because it means having to do math and figure out what I'm actually needing, and I'm not very good at it, so I will eventually. The other reason is that it looks like it's going to be a really big quilt, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fit it through my sewing machine to actually do the quilting. So yeah, that's the reason why. Well, several reasons, excuses. Those are the excuses as to why I haven't actually finished this quilt. But again, I would like to, so maybe I just need to just simply get on with it. I'm just not that confident, I guess. I probably could do it. I'm just not confident with the finishing off, because I'm not an expert sewer. I'm very much a beginner sewer, so I like to do things and push myself enough to learn, but not be overly complicated. So yeah, who knows, we'll maybe get this one finished at some point as well. I did look on how much it would cost to send the quilt away to get it quilted by an expert quilter, but you're talking at least £100 for a double, for a bed-sized double bed quilt to be quilted. So yeah, I'm kind of put off a little bit of doing that, because I just, you know, the reason I'm making it myself is because I don't want to spend hundreds of pounds on a handmade item. Well, it's not that I don't want to, that's not the right term of phrase. I don't have the money to do it. Although, is that really, I mean, do I tell myself that I don't have the money? And I actually do, because the amount of money that I spend on supplies, I guess it really comes down to what's important to us, isn't it? And I think for me, the more important part of handmade is the actual participation in it. If I'm doing something handmade, it's made by me, and I just get so much joy out of doing that, and even more joy from gifting it as well to people. So yeah, what do you guys think? What's your priorities when it comes to handmade? Are you happy to pay somebody else to do the parts that you perhaps are unable to because you don't have the machines to be able to do it, or would you rather do it yourself too? Let me know in the comments. So now moving on to what I plan creative-wise over the coming weeks. I've already spoken about this in the last podcast. However, this week is slightly different in that I actually have the pattern and the material and things. So I'm going to show you that now. Russell, sorry. They're new, so they're still in their package. I bought these from Amazon. This is the ragdoll, and this is the clothes for the ragdoll. Yes, I got it right. Of course I got it. I did have a quick sneak peek, but yeah. So this is the clothes, and this is the ragdoll. So this is the ragdoll. It's Alice's Bear Shop. It is a 54cm traditional ragdoll, and I love the look of these. I think that yes, check our free tutorial video series on our website tutorial page. So they actually have tutorials as well. So I'm really looking forward to making this. As I said last week, I've been wanting to make a ragdoll for quite some time, so that I'm finally getting it. And how cute, how adorable is this dress? And how adorable is this dress? I mean, how cute is this? It's just, I love it. Absolutely love it. From what I can see on the back, they've even got patterns for bears and things. So yeah, I mean, little cap. I love the little cap. I'm so excited. I haven't picked the fabric yet. I do have some fabric, but I may end up just buying more fabric. We'll see. I'm being a bit naughty because I've got loads of fabric. But yeah, the fabric that I've got is supposed to be for other things. So I've bought some fabric for making quilts and things, and I don't want to use that because I want to use it for quilting. Now I say I want to use it for quilting, but this fabric I've probably had for years as well. But that was the idea why I bought the fabric. So yeah, we'll see what I've got left. It might, I haven't actually looked because there might be some fat quarters that might do because the dresses are so small. I might be able to use fat quarters, but we'll see. We will see. Again, I'll leave the link in the description. I bought some calico. This is for the actual ragdoll itself. It's an absolute bargain. It was £3 something a metre. Again, it was Amazon that I bought it. And it's stiff enough, but not too stiff. So yeah, I think that this is going to work really well. Watch this space, because once I'm actually doing this, the ragdolls, I'll let you know how I get on with the calico. But again, I will leave the link in the description, and you can go and have a look at yourself and see if it is something that you would purchase. Because you can't really go wrong with £3 odd for a metre of this stuff. It feels like it's good hard wearing stuff, so I'm really pleased with it. So that is that. The other plan that I have that I'm planning to do over the coming year is I am going to do another paper piece quilt, so another hand sewn quilt. I've been inspired by watching Sheep and Cheerful. She has been talking about doing a quilt over the coming year, and a paper piece quilt, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I obviously showed you the quilt before earlier on in the podcast, and I used squares, but I've been wanting to use hexagons for quite some time. So I do plan to sew along with Nikki from the Sheep and Cheerful podcast. It's going to be over the next year. It's small hexagons and it's hand sewn, but it's so portable. Let me show you the prep that I have done so far. I'll just move over a little bit to give myself a bit of space to insert the footage. This is my plan for my paper piece quilt. I'm showing you a close-up of the template that I used for the hexagons. And the website, I will leave a link in the description below, so you can go and sign up to her email list, and you'll get sent this. It is, I think it's Getas, Getas, quiltingstudio.com. It's for personal use only, and as I said, if you give the email, she will email you this to print off. I'm also showing you the fabric that I have chosen, which is these fat quarters. I got 2 sets, each coming with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's one of them open. And here's the other ones. So there's the red with the polka dots, light blue with, oh, I've got fluff. Light blue with the flowers. I love this green with the flowers, and the green with the white polka dots, and the blue with the white polka dots. So I'm hoping that that will be enough to be able to do at least a minimum of a lap quilt. But I guess time will tell. I'm actually considering doing a separate video to actually show you my process and how I've cut out the hexagons, but also how I go about cutting the material and actually setting up the hexagons to then be able to sew. And I would like to be able to maybe do a little demonstration of how I sew. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm more than happy to show you. So if that's something that you would like to see in the future, let me know in the comments. I would be very grateful to know whether or not it's something that you would find interesting. I'm so excited. This is day 1 of the Advent calendar. Yay! Let's have a look and see what we've got today. It's number 1. So my very first skein. So excited. So this is how it came. Sorry for the rustling, but this is how it came. It came in individual bags with the sticker with a number on it. So I simply rolled it up, folded it and popped it in the corresponding pocket. So I'm excited to open this. Dun, da, da, da. Oh wow, oh that is so cute. Oh, how absolutely adorable is that? Oh wow. Okay, that is just adorable. So my very first, so this is Snowy Hills. Little tag on to see what the colourway is. That is absolutely adorable. I love those colours. I'm so excited. So December the 1st, Snowy Hills. I don't know where I'm going to keep it now, but I'm sure I'll think of something. There is one tiny last plan that I would like to share with you today, if you don't mind, and that is I'm planning to add to the podcast a little segment on my plans for my shop. I do have a shop on my website, and in the new year I plan to give it a shake up and do things differently. I would like to take you along on the journey. So I'm going to add a little bit of a segment to the podcast, all things shop related. So that could be showing you my designs in progress. It could be showing you what's in the shop, what's ready to be put in the shop, you know, just lots of different things. So yeah, if that's something that you are excited about hearing about and joining in, because do you know, I suppose at the end of the day, if you're commenting in the comments, suggestions and things, you never know. You know, it could be a roundabout way to get a commissioned piece done without it being commissioned, if that makes sense. So if there's something that you're desperate to have, or you think that you know, there's a particular colour that you would like to see when I'm making something or designing something, then you know, you could be helping to get what you want. I know that it's something that I like to help my creative friends out with if they're asking for ideas and suggestions for colour and you know, designs and things, because it's fun. It's fun to help. So that's pretty much all I have to tell you about today. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're still here at the very end, you are an absolute star. Thank you so much for your time. It really is appreciated. And I hope that you leave me a little message, a little comment. Let's start a conversation. Let's get this community built. Let's chat. I would absolutely love that. That's what this podcast is all about. It's about meeting and making new friends. Take care, everybody, and don't forget, look after your mental well-being, because nobody else can. And I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.